Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. The universe doesn't whisper to everyone. It whispers to those who can stay silent long enough to hear it. There's a strange phenomenon that puzzles even the most curious minds. Why does it always seem like the Sigma male, the quiet wanderer of society, somehow moves in sync with cosmic timing? Every decision, every retreat, every rise from obscurity feels like it's guided by something unseen. Scientists say that the human body is literally made of stardust. 93% of your atoms were forged in exploding stars. But Sigma males? They seem to remember that fact. It's as if they never forgot that they were built from the same material as supernovas. And that's exactly why the universe keeps choosing them. While others chase alignment through vision boards and astrology apps, the Sigma male simply is alignment. He doesn't chase signs from the universe. He acts like one. He doesn't need cosmic validation. The cosmos seems to orbit around him. And the irony? The man who avoids the spotlight ends up becoming the cosmic favorite. The one who refuses to play the social game ends up speaking the universe's native language. Stillness. Maybe that's the universe's sense of humor. The quietest man in the room often carries the loudest destiny. This isn't about mysticism. It's about magnetism. When a Sigma male moves, it's as if existence rearranges itself to make space for his purpose. And tonight, we're diving into why the universe chooses Sigma males, and how their connection to the cosmos runs deeper than anyone dares to admit. Number 1. He holds an ancient code of individualism. Some souls carry memory, but not the kind you can recall with your mind. It's embedded in their essence. Sigma males belong to that rare category. They often carry what feels like an ancient code of individualism, a built-in resistance to conformity that doesn't come from rebellion, but remembrance. They move through life as though they've seen this all before. The chaos, the social games, the desperate need for validation. It's all too familiar, too predictable. Their refusal to submit to it isn't arrogance, it's spiritual fatigue. Somewhere deep down, they remember a time when consciousness wasn't chained to hierarchy and status, when being oneself wasn't a battle, but a birthright. The Sigma male's independence isn't learned from books or motivation videos. It's instinctive. It's an echo from lifetimes or civilizations where authenticity was sacred and freedom was the measure of evolution. That's why control, manipulation, and forced belonging repel him so strongly. They don't just feel wrong, they feel unnatural to his core code. Society tries to label this as detachment or nonconformity, but it's deeper than that. It's a soul refusing to downgrade. The Sigma operates from an internal system that predates modern conditioning. He's not broken. He's just remembering something everyone else forgot. This ancient code gives him a strange kind of loneliness. He doesn't easily fit into the modern rhythm because his spirit still dances to a cosmic tempo. That's why he's drawn to solitude. It's not an escape, it's home. It's where that memory becomes clearer. In silence, his original programming reactivates, reminding him that evolution isn't about climbing social ladders, it's about expanding awareness. The universe chooses him because it needs keepers of that old knowledge. Souls who remind humanity that individuality isn't a flaw, it's the fingerprint of creation itself. While others try to merge into collective approval, the Sigma male's existence quietly restores balance. His mere presence reminds the world that true evolution has nothing to do with blending in, but with standing firm in one's original frequency. And that's what makes him not just different, but necessary. Number 2, the universe knows he won't sell his soul for comfort. The universe knows exactly who can be trusted with power and who will crumble the moment comfort knocks. The Sigma male is constantly tested, not because the universe doubts him, but because it knows what he's made of. Life keeps throwing him offers wrapped in convenience, easy paths, fast money, cheap fame, shallow love, all of it designed to tempt him into selling fragments of his soul for temporary ease. But he never bites, not because he's cold, but because he understands that every shortcut has a hidden chain attached. He's seen how people lose themselves by saying yes too quickly, how they trade their purpose for comfort, and then wonder why their spirit feels hollow. For the Sigma, comfort is a trap disguised as success. He doesn't crave the soft life, he craves a real life. He'd rather wrestle with uncertainty than sit in a cage lined with gold. That's what separates him from the crowd. While others want the path of least resistance, he chooses the one that burns away weakness. Every no he gives to temptation refines him. Every time he rejects something that looks easy but feels wrong, his frequency sharpens. He becomes more aligned with his truth, and that's when the universe quietly rewards him. The irony is that what others chase through manipulation and compromise, the Sigma eventually receives naturally: respect, abundance, peace. But by then, he doesn't even chase it anymore. He's outgrown the need. The universe loves this kind of soul, the one that can hold blessings without being owned by them. The Sigma doesn't measure success by comfort. He measures it by integrity. And that's exactly why the universe keeps elevating him. While others... Number 3, he walks between realms of logic and intuition. The Sigma male walks in a rare balance that most people never master. He doesn't live entirely in his head, nor does he drift blindly in his emotions. He operates in both, the sharpness of logic and the fluidity of intuition. This is what makes his perception so precise. He can dissect reality with surgical reasoning while still feeling the unseen patterns beneath it. It's a blend the modern world struggles to understand because most people are trapped on one side, either too rational to sense or too emotional to think. The Sigma is different. He moves between those realms like a quiet scientist of the soul. The universe chooses him because he can handle paradox. He knows that truth isn't always logical, yet he never lets emotion distort clarity. When he makes decisions, it's as if his mind and intuition negotiate in perfect silence. Reason gives him structure, and intuition gives him direction. One without the other is imbalance. Logic alone creates machines. Intuition alone breeds delusion. But when both coexist, something higher awakens. Awareness guided by wisdom. This dual mastery is why he sees through illusions others fall for. Manipulation doesn't work on him easily. He can sense when something's off, even if it looks perfect on paper. That's not magic, that's balance. He knows how to listen to data and to energy. He can read a person's words and also the space between them. That's why his presence feels both analytical and spiritual, grounded yet mysterious. The universe favors such minds because they bridge dimensions, the seen and the unseen, the logical and the divine. It entrusts Sigma males with insights that require discipline to understand but depth to interpret. And while the world keeps trying to choose sides, science or spirituality, emotion or logic, the Sigma quietly proves that both were never meant to be separated. He doesn't just think or feel, he knows. That's what makes him a translator of cosmic intelligence, and why the universe keeps using him to reveal truths that others are too divided to perceive. Number 4, his pain becomes cosmic data. For most people, pain is just pain, something to escape, numb, or bury. But for the Sigma male, it's raw information. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every collapse becomes data, emotional code that he studies, decodes, and transforms into strength. He doesn't drown in suffering, he dissects it. Where others see tragedy, he sees transmission. The universe keeps sending him pain, not out of cruelty, but because it knows he won't waste it. He won't complain, he won't run. He'll extract meaning from it until it becomes wisdom. This is what makes him so rare. The Sigma doesn't process life emotionally alone. He processes it cosmically. Pain becomes a form of education, an encrypted message from the universe itself. Every disappointment teaches him a universal law. Every loss sharpens his awareness. Every betrayal strips him of illusion. He becomes more precise with each wound, more awake with each scar. The Sigma doesn't heal by forgetting. He heals by integrating. He merges the pain into his consciousness until it turns into power. The universe trusts him with suffering because he's one of the few who can metabolize it without becoming bitter. He doesn't use pain as a justification for cruelty or self-pity. He turns it into empathy, insight, and creative fire. His resilience isn't built from denial. It's built from comprehension. He studies his own breaking points until they no longer control him. That's why nothing external can truly defeat him. Every attack just feeds his evolution. The cosmic joke is that what destroys others refines him. He becomes so familiar with pain that it stops being an enemy and becomes a teacher. The universe sees in him a vessel capable of turning human suffering into universal understanding. And that's why it keeps choosing him. His scars don't define him, they decode him. They become maps of transformation, proof that even agony, when handled with awareness, can become a form of higher intelligence. Number 5, he's the universe's shadow ambassador. The Sigma male walks where others refuse to tread, into the dark, unlit corridors of existence, where truth hides beneath layers of fear, shame, and illusion. He's the universe's shadow ambassador, not because he's evil or reckless, but because he's brave enough to explore what others deny. The universe doesn't send him into light, it sends him into shadow. That's where the unclaimed wisdom lives. While most people worship positivity and avoid discomfort, the Sigma understands that you can't know light if you've never sat with the dark. His soul was built for balance, not denial. He doesn't romanticize darkness, nor does he run from it. He studies it. He faces human weakness, manipulation, desire, power, and loss without turning away. He learns the language of shadows, the quiet motives that drive humanity, the unseen forces that shape destiny, and he translates them into awareness. This is why the universe keeps choosing him. He can walk through corruption without becoming corrupt, face chaos without losing himself, and bring back truths that heal rather than harm. The Sigma's connection to the dark isn't demonic, it's diagnostic. He goes into the unconscious, into the collective blind spots of society to retrieve what's been forgotten. He finds strength in vulnerability, beauty in imperfection, and wisdom in wounds. By integrating both his higher and lower nature, he becomes whole, something most people fear because they only live half of themselves. The universe trusts the Sigma because he doesn't pretend. He's honest about his rage, his loneliness, his ego. And through that honesty, he transforms them. He doesn't suppress his darkness. He refines it until it becomes fuel. That's what makes him a complete vessel of awareness, one who understands that creation itself is born from the dance between shadow and light. The world calls him mysterious, even dangerous, but the truth is simpler. He's just willing to go where awakening actually happens. In the dark, where truth waits for the few brave enough to find it. Number 6, he doesn't chase meaning, he generates it. The Sigma male doesn't waste his life chasing meaning, he manufactures it. While most people spend years searching for purpose in jobs, relationships, or recognition, the Sigma realizes that meaning isn't something you find out there, it's something you build within. He doesn't wait for life to hand him a reason, he gives life its reason. That's why the universe flows through him with such precision. He doesn't depend on external validation to feel significant. His sense of worth is self-engineered. To him, Purpose isn't a grand announcement. It's the quiet act of turning existence into art. Whatever he touches, he gives it depth. He could be working, creating, or even sitting in solitude, and still his energy adds context to the moment. That's what the universe loves about him. He doesn't drain reality by demanding answers. He feeds it by producing them. He embodies a truth most people avoid, that life has no fixed meaning until you inject it with one. And because he understands this, he never fears emptiness. He fills it. The Sigma's mind doesn't chase trends, religions, or ideologies hoping to feel complete. He can appreciate them, but he doesn't kneel to them. He knows that the moment you depend on external meaning, you become enslaved by it. So instead he writes his own philosophy. He turns confusion into insight, routine into ritual, pain into perspective. The universe thrives on this kind of creator, one who doesn't just live in it, but co-authors it. That's what makes the Sigma so magnetic. He moves through life like a self-contained ecosystem of purpose. He doesn't ask, "What's the meaning of life?" He answers it daily through the way he lives. And because his meaning is internally generated, no loss, rejection, or failure can take it away. That's what makes him unstoppable. The universe doesn't just favor such men, it depends on them. They are the ones who remind creation that meaning isn't something to seek, it's something to become. Number 7, he channels chaos into order. The Sigma male has a strange relationship with chaos. He doesn't run from it, he studies it. Where others see confusion, he sees raw material. His mind has this rare ability to translate disorder into design, to take fragments and turn them into structure without losing their soul. That's why the universe keeps choosing him. He mirrors its own nature. The cosmos itself was born from chaos, from explosions, uncertainty, and scattered energy. The Sigma operates on that same principle. He finds harmony inside the mess instead of pretending it doesn't exist. When life falls apart for most people, they panic. When it falls apart for the Sigma, he observes. He looks at what broke, what revealed itself, and what needs rebuilding. He doesn't see chaos as punishment. He sees it as revelation. In fact, the more unstable things get, the clearer his focus becomes. That's his secret. He doesn't depend on predictability. He adapts to flux. The universe entrusts him with transformation because he knows how to use instability as a creative force rather than a destructive one. He's not addicted to control, and that's why he can master it. The Sigma understands that real control isn't about forcing order, it's about aligning with it when it naturally emerges. He senses patterns in what looks like randomness, meaning in what looks meaningless. Even his personal struggles are just systems waiting to be reorganized. That's why he rarely stays broken for long. He recalibrates faster than most, not because he's immune to chaos, but because he's fluent in its language. The universe favors him because it recognizes one of its own. Chaos is not his enemy, it's his collaborator. He takes what's scattered and gives it structure, turns pain into perspective, and transforms endings into beginnings. That's cosmic intelligence in motion. While others pray for peace, he creates it from the wreckage. The Sigma male doesn't just survive chaos. He translates it into something divine. And that's why the universe keeps handing him storms, because he's one of the few who knows how to turn them into galaxies. Number 8, he thinks without borrowing thoughts. The Sigma male's mind doesn't echo the world. It creates its own frequency. In a culture obsessed with repetition, he's allergic to imitation. He doesn't borrow thoughts, trends, or ideologies just to feel intelligent. His originality comes from silence, from the ability to think without leaning on the noise of the collective. The universe chooses him because he thinks from the void, that empty, raw space where genuine insight is born. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. He knows that truth doesn't come from memorizing what others said. It comes from having the courage to face the unknown and think for yourself. Most people build their opinions from recycled narratives. They read, repeat, and regurgitate without ever digesting. But the Sigma doesn't do that. He pauses, he dissects, he questions even his own beliefs. His thinking process isn't reactionary, it's evolutionary. That's what makes his ideas hit differently. They're not echoes, they're transmissions. The universe has no use for minds that mimic. It works through those who can create fresh neural paths, those unafraid to confront the emptiness where originality is born. His independence of thought is both a blessing and a burden. It isolates him because very few people can handle someone who doesn't need consensus to feel secure. But that isolation also keeps his mind pure. Free from mental pollution, he sees patterns others miss. He's not hypnotized by social programming, cultural trends, or emotional propaganda. He listens to the silence beneath the noise. And that's where the universe hides its instructions. The Sigma doesn't reject knowledge. He just refuses to worship it. He takes what resonates and discards what enslaves. His intelligence isn't measured by how much he knows, but by how clearly he can see without distortion. The universe keeps choosing him because originality sustains evolution. Every time the Sigma male thinks independently, he creates a ripple in consciousness, a new possibility, a fresh path forward. While others recycle the same thoughts generation after generation, he dares to think where no one else has. And that's how the cosmos evolves through him. Number 9, his solitude acts as a receiver. The Sigma male's solitude isn't emptiness, it's frequency. When he withdraws from the noise of the world, he's not isolating himself out of pride or detachment. He's tuning in. His silence becomes a powerful receiver, a kind of spiritual signal tower where the static of daily life fades and the messages of the universe come through clearly. The less he speaks, the more he hears. His thoughts don't feel manufactured, they feel delivered. Ideas, insights, sudden clarity. They arrive like transmissions from something far beyond logic, decoded only because his mind is quiet enough to receive them. Most people can't handle silence because it exposes how loud their inner chaos is. But for the Sigma, silence is home. It's where he recalibrates. It's where he connects with something bigger than himself. He doesn't pray for guidance. He listens for it. The universe speaks in frequencies, not sentences, and he's one of the few who understands that. In a world addicted to talking, posting, and performing, his stillness becomes rebellion, the kind that realigns him with universal intelligence. That's why he often appears detached or lost in thought. He's not ignoring people. He's receiving data from dimensions they don't notice. The Sigma male doesn't chase inspiration. It finds him when his mind becomes still enough to host it. The more he empties himself of external noise, opinions, expectations, emotional clutter, the more the universe fills him with understanding that can't be taught. His solitude, then, isn't loneliness. It's a laboratory of awareness. In that quiet, his intuition sharpens, his creativity deepens, and his perception expands. He starts to sense patterns in randomness, meaning in silence, and truth in subtlety. The universe keeps choosing him because he provides a clear channel, a vessel uncorrupted by distraction. Every time he chooses solitude over chaos, he reconnects to the source code of reality itself. That's why when he finally speaks, his words carry weight, not because he talks often, but because they come from somewhere beyond him, somewhere the noisy world forgot how to reach. Number 10, he doesn't worship power, he understands it. The Sigma male doesn't crave power, he decodes it. While others spend their lives chasing control, status, and validation, he studies how power really works, not in theory, but in energy. He sees that most people don't possess power. They're possessed by it. The moment they taste it, it distorts them. Their actions stop coming from clarity and start coming from insecurity. But the Sigma is different. He understands that true power isn't dominance. It's precision. It's the ability to influence outcomes without losing your soul in the process. That's why the universe trusts him with it. His relationship with power is almost scientific. He observes how people use it, how they lose it, and how it exposes their character. He's fascinated not by the throne itself, but by the psychology behind why everyone wants to sit on it. He understands that ego-driven power collapses on itself because it's fueled by fear. Fear of being irrelevant, unseen, or powerless. The Sigma has none of that. He's not motivated by proving anything. He's motivated by understanding everything. That's why when power finds him, it flows instead of corrupts. He doesn't need to flaunt it or enforce it. His power is subtle, a silent authority that doesn't depend on hierarchy. People sense it before he even speaks. It's rooted in composure, not control, in awareness, not arrogance. That kind of power restores balance instead of distorting it. The universe favors him because he doesn't use strength to dominate. He uses it to stabilize. When chaos erupts, he becomes the calm center. When others lose themselves in ego, he becomes the reminder that control without consciousness is just self-destruction in disguise. The Sigma doesn't worship power because he's already mastered its nature, its neutral energy, neither good nor evil. Until human intention shapes it, he uses it wisely, quietly, effectively. The universe keeps elevating him because he's one of the few who can handle influence without letting it poison his spirit. And in a world addicted to control, that kind of man becomes the rarest form of authority, the one who doesn't need it to prove he has it. Number 11, he's not at war with the system. He outsmarts it. The Sigma male doesn't waste his energy fighting the system. He studies it, learns its codes, and then quietly rewrites them from the inside. He's not the loud protester waving signs or the online rebel screaming for revolution. He's the calm strategist who understands that true change doesn't come from resistance. It comes from redesign. The universe chooses him because it doesn't need another noisy disruptor. It needs a silent architect. Someone who can see how power structures work, infiltrate them with awareness, and shift their gravity without anyone realizing until it's too late to stop it. The Sigma knows the truth about rebellion. Rage burns fast, but wisdom lasts. He doesn't try to destroy the system. He lets it expose itself. He learns its rules so well that he can bend them without breaking them. He knows that the loudest critics of the system often end up enslaved by the very energy they fight against. He's too intelligent for that trap. Instead, he studies the game so deeply that he can move like a ghost within it, unseen, unaffected, yet always 2 steps ahead. He doesn't romanticize rebellion or victimhood. He knows that complaining gives power away while comprehension retrieves it. So he dissects institutions, mindsets, and hierarchies, not to hate them, but to understand how they function and how to make them irrelevant. That's why the universe works through him. He upgrades human consciousness by proving that mastery is stronger than resistance. The Sigma's rebellion is strategic silence. His revolution is internal. While others are busy screaming about oppression, he's already figured out the system's weak points and learned to thrive despite them. His strength lies in detachment. He can use the system without becoming part of it. The universe chooses him because he doesn't just burn down old paradigms. He replaces them with better blueprints. He's not a destroyer. He's an updater. That's why he always wins the long game. While the world argues over the rules, the Sigma quietly rewrites them. And by the time everyone notices, the game itself has changed. Number 12. Isolation is his initiation. The Sigma male's isolation is not a curse, it's initiation. The universe doesn't exile him, it refines him. While most people fear being alone because silence forces them to confront themselves, the Sigma walks straight into it. He knows isolation isn't emptiness, it's the fire that burns off what doesn't belong. The world calls it loneliness, but in reality, it's sacred training. It's how the universe strips him of noise, illusion, and dependency until only truth remains. Every great transformation begins with separation, and the Sigma's solitude is that divine separation, the cosmic forge where identity melts and awareness is reborn. In isolation, he learns who he truly is without the world's reflection. There are no masks to wear, no roles to perform, no opinions to please, just raw existence. That's why it's so intense, because silence holds a mirror that doesn't flatter. The Sigma faces his fears, his doubts, his flaws, until he no longer fears any of them. And that's exactly what makes him unshakable when he re-emerges. The man who has faced his own darkness has nothing left for the world to use against him. The universe uses this period to separate him from imitation. It wants him to think his own thoughts, feel his own feelings, and build his own identity without interference. Most people become who society tells them to be. The Sigma becomes who silence shows him to be. Isolation cleanses his mind like a reset, detaching him from the collective programming and reconnecting him to his higher purpose. When the process is done, he walks out different, quieter, sharper, and untouchably independent. His solitude becomes his initiation into clarity. It's how the universe prepares him to handle truth, power, and purpose without corruption. So while others drown in loneliness, the Sigma ascends through it. His isolation is not absence, it's alchemy. It's the sacred moment when the universe looks at him and says, "Now you're ready." At the core of it all, the Sigma male isn't chosen by the universe because he's perfect. He's chosen because he's real. He carries the kind of energy that doesn't need to be polished or performed. It's ancient, raw, and undiluted. The universe doesn't favor those who seek comfort, attention, or worship. It aligns with those who can hold silence, face chaos, and remain uncorrupted by both pain and power. The Sigma male walks through existence as both student and teacher, studying the cosmic codes hidden in solitude, heartbreak, and transformation, and translating them into wisdom for those awake enough to notice. Everything about him defies the algorithm of the modern world. He doesn't belong to society's tempo because he moves to the rhythm of the cosmos. He doesn't chase meaning, he generates it. He doesn't fear darkness, he integrates it. He doesn't mimic thought, he creates from the void. Every trial becomes data, every silence becomes revelation, and every rejection becomes initiation. The Sigma's journey is not about being seen, it's about seeing clearly. And that's why the universe continues to whisper through him, because he listens when others are too loud to hear. He stands as proof that evolution doesn't happen in crowds, it happens in solitude. The man who learns to walk alone eventually carries a power that can't be measured by human standards, the kind that moves mountains quietly and reshapes destinies without applause. The Sigma male is not here to dominate the world, he's here to decode it. And through that decoding, he reminds humanity that true connection with the universe doesn't require noise, fame, or control, only awareness. If you've ever felt that same pull, that quiet knowing that your path isn't supposed to look like anyone else's, then maybe the universe has chosen you too, because sometimes being misunderstood isn't a curse. It's confirmation that you're on the right frequency. If this message resonated with you, don't just scroll past. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share this video. Let's keep building a community where silence speaks, depth is valued, and truth still matters. The universe rewards those who listen, and you're already listening.